being the monthly partner, I feel like I'm more committed. Before, I would kind of shut it off for 10, 11 months out of the year. And then when a give would happen and be like, okay, yep, here we go. Yep, I did my job.
Welcome back to the Men of Iron podcast. We are in our generosity series. Last week, we touched base on what is generosity, what is biblical generosity, and really dove into a lot of the biblical scriptures that talk about generosity. Before we get started this week, we want to thank this month's sponsor, Backgate Prayers. As believers, we have the awesome responsibility of guiding and shaping the future of our families. Praying for your loved ones is one of the highest privileges given to us by Jesus. Sometimes we need a tangible reminder to pray, and Backgate Prayer has come up with one. It's a leather bracelet which is designed to be worn at all times, even in water. The bracelets are well made and well designed. There's a Greek word on them, pontate, meaning at all times, always, ever. Man, what a great reminder. Why should we be wearing this? Well, in Proverbs 7, 1-3, it says, "My child, devote yourself to my words and store up my commands inside yourself. Keep my commands so that you may live, and obey my instructions as your most prized possession. Bind them on your forearm. Write them on the tablet of your heart." Man, what a great reminder. In order to get a discount, you can use the Men of Iron code, 10% off. You can visit Backgate Prayers to learn more at backgateprayers.com. Men, if you desire brotherhood and accountability, we have an online group for you. Hit the link below. We have some new groups launching this month, so it's not too late. Get connected with guys across the country and sharpen each other as you grow in your faith. We have a special guest today, returning to the podcast, Corby Ziegler. Corby's a friend, and I'm really excited about our conversation. We're talking about generosity. Corby, before we jump into that, can you just introduce yourself and just tell us a little about yourself and your family?
Yeah. So Corby Ziegler, married to Julie Ziegler. We have 4 kids, Shay, Reba, Tyson, and Tanner. Live here in Mannheim, born and bred. Yeah, man, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, lots of energy in your household.
Yeah, 10 and under. So yeah, it's a wild place to be right now, but it's a good place.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, well, we're talking about generosity. We're talking about biblical generosity, and we've been getting into what does it mean to be generous? And before we get into more generosity, just tell us how you got involved with Men of Iron. Like what was your first experience, and kind of how did you even get to the point where you'd even consider giving towards Men of Iron?
Sure. So I've been around Men of Iron for probably 15 years. It kind of starts back from 2010 when I started attending Victory Church. Through kind of Garrett Barbush had invited me to attend Victory Church, and I was very new in my faith at that time, and coming back to the faith. And I remember very, very early on at Victory, men going up front and them doing their first few launches with that. And I just remember thinking it was cool. I was growing so much in my faith at that time that I didn't really think much of it. Back up, I grew up with Garrett Barbush, and so when he left his job to come to Men of Iron as president, I would say like that's when I started like really kind of paying attention to a little bit more, just because of our deep friendship. And probably around that time, whenever Garrett would have transitioned in, I don't even know what year that was, but I would say on a yearly basis, probably more towards like that once a year give that would take place. Yeah. Like I started at a low amount and started giving, probably because my friend ran it and, was involved, birthed out of our church. And, I thought it was a cool thing. Yeah. That's kind of where it all started from, where I kind of got that first glimpse of it.
Yeah. Before you got personally involved, kind of what did you see? What did you see with the men that were in it? Like,
I just remember seeing, again, back to Victory Church, seeing the men go up on stage and Pastor Kurt praying over them. Like, it's such a vivid memory of mine. Like seeing these mentors standing behind their protege and hands on, and Pastor Kurt praying over these men. And I think I also like remember like celebrations like at the end of that year, and I was never part of that, but I remember just always hearing about that. And so like just seeing at a very distance, men being or first of all, stepping into that mentorship, and then the result of a year later, I just remember like it just seeing like a bright light around them. Like there was just a lot of joy, and again, that's kind of like the first glimpses that I had of Men of Iron.
Was that something that you saw yourself doing at that point, or?
It is very interesting to me how God has personally aligned all of my steps. I was, again, I fall back to like, I always thought the program was really neat.
Yeah.
I always knew at some point I was going to do it. I was involved with a lot of other programs through my recovery, with some of my other addictions that I was really involved with. And I knew my time with Strong 27 or Men of Iron, Strong 27, whichever.
Yeah.
I knew it just wasn't quite the time.
Yeah.
And as the years went on, like I started investing a little bit more heavily through like the once a year give or something like that. Yeah. And then I think it was 3 years ago, I had my office was actually in here at Supply, and again, back when Garrett was still here, he came down to my office and he's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something." And I was looking into doing some business coaching, or just looking for something a little bit more, just to kind of grow my faith, or just some wisdom just with another man. And he had presented about that they're doing an executive Strong 27 launch. And, it didn't take but maybe 2 or 3 days of praying. And I remember calling Garrett. I literally was sitting on my mower, and I shut the mower off, and I was out in the middle of our yard, and I called him and I said, it's the time. Like it's now is the time for me to step into this. So I think it was about 3 years ago, when we would have done that. And, looking back again, God aligning everything up in his perfect timing. When I had kind of found out who my mentor was going to be, it was a really special moment. Justin Barbush would have been my high school wrestling coach, long-time relationship, someone I really looked up to. Yeah. And when I knew that he was going to be my my mentor, again, God's perfect timing. Yeah. And it was a really, really special year of having him mentor over me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, you've been involved, you've felt the impact personally. Yeah. If you had to speak for Julie, what do you think what from her seat, obviously you guys are giving as a couple, right? What do you think her motivation is when she sees Men of Iron? Right. What has she told you?
Yeah. So, for my wife, like obviously, in just being around Men of Iron for a long time, we would have actually met at Victory Church. Yeah. And so she's known about it for a long time. And, we believe that, men are the spiritual leaders in the household, and ultimately we all look to God for guidance. So she was very, very supportive, and encouraged me through that whole time of my mentorship. And, the things that JB had me do in regards to challenging me spiritually and, financially, just all the 5 F's, was a huge benefit, and really, honestly, truly brought us closer, whether it was in regards to praying with each other, doing, leading devotions with our kids, like before that, like, I was, I think, being a good father, but it was that next step for me to be challenged, be like, hey, like this is the biblical principles of how to lead my family. Yeah. And no, I'm still not perfect, and I still screw up and get it wrong, but it definitely had laid a really good foundation for me in that year, and now to carry on. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you guys, you're monthly partners. You partner monthly, not for a program that you're in, but just to provide this for other guys. Talk me through like that process of like, why monthly? Why have you guys decided to partner in that way?
Sure. So back to, there was probably 10 years of doing the one-time donation towards the end of the year, November, whenever that was. After going through Strong 27 and just knowing how much it impacted me, I believed in the program before, and I knew this world needs this program. Us men need this program. But again, after I went through it, it just was like I'm all in.
Yeah.
And for me, it was actually pretty simple. Like I wanted to become a monthly partner, and definitely no regrets looking back.
Yeah. How has it changed how you view yourself in regard to the organization? Do you feel like maybe there's more of a partnership when it's that monthly?
Yeah. To me, being the monthly partner, I feel like I'm more committed.
Yeah.
Before, I would kind of shut it off for 10, 11 months out of the year. And then when a give would happen and be like, okay, yep, here we go. Yep. I did my job.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a commitment.
Yeah.
On just a constant commitment, a monthly commitment on just giving to a program that I believe in.
Yeah. Yeah. When you guys have your family meetings, just give us pull back the curtain a little bit. How you guys make those decisions? This is something we're talking about, just generosity in general.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, as a couple, how do you guys make those decisions?
In regards to like some of the decisions that we've made, and when I had presented it to Julie about, like, I think it might even been like a flyer or something that was sent out, or some kind of program that Men of Iron would have put out that. Basically, when I talked to her about it, I mean, there was no hesitation. It was like, how much do we want to give?
Yeah, that's awesome.
How much are we bought in for, or what's a comfortable amount with us financially to be able to support that?
What's your dream for Men of Iron?
My dream for Men of Iron, and my dream for every man in my church is to either be the protege or be mentored or be the mentor.
Yeah.
And then continue to just keep giving back and pouring into people. I know I've heard different people talk about it, that, like, you're either taking or you're giving. And in regards to Men of Iron, like, I feel it doesn't matter what age you're at. There's always someone out there in a different season. And, I think it's so important, if we're not pouring into some young man's life, or whatever that looks like, or allowing an older man to sharpen us, I can get pretty stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So last thing, if you were talking to, hey, there's a guy listening to this podcast that loves Men of Iron, loves our mission, but has not started supporting, is not a monthly partner, what would you say to them?
Just do it, man. Like, to me, it's been, it just is a great joy. Being involved with different Men of Iron events, and just knowing what this organization has impacted. Like, it just gives me great joy to be able to just be partnered, to be dedicated, to be committed. And, it doesn't, there's all different levels of what we can give, and it doesn't matter. It's, to me, it comes from within your heart and the commitment. And
that's good. We've been talking about cultivating that generosity, that spirit of generosity. And man, we really appreciate your partnership. Without people like you, we couldn't do what we do. And it really is, we're both on the same team. We're just different seats on the bus. So really appreciate your time, Corby. Absolutely. And thanks for joining us for this series.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Men of Iron podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. At Men of Iron, we exist to change a culture one man at a time, and we'd love to have you partner with us. So go to menofiron.org to see how you can get involved, or donate at menofiron.org/donate.